In this video, we're going to take a look at the difference between how a mobile interface is created in jQuery Mobile and in the UX component in Alpha Anywhere. Recently, I came across an article, a blog article that described how to build this user interface over here in jQuery Mobile. So you can see this is jQuery Mobile running over here, and when we tap on a menu item there, we get a menu revealed on the left hand side, and then when we tap that, the menu goes away, and then when we tap this, we get another menu coming in from the right hand side. So the article described how this menuing system was built, and if we look over here, here's the article, and you can see that in order to build this in jQuery Mobile, a fair amount of HTML markup had to be written by hand, and then also CSS had to also be created by hand. So while the effect is certainly looks like a nice mobile application, the effort required to do this is fairly large. So let's go now to Alpha Anywhere and take a look at how a similar UI can be constructed using the UX component. So we'll go now to Alpha Anywhere, and now let's go over to Working Preview and look at the app that we've built here, and then pull it apart and see how we did it. So you can see that we have our main content page over here, and then when we click on the left menu button, we can see that our menu slides in from the left hand side. When we click on any of these buttons right now, nothing's happening because we haven't yet hooked up any event handlers. And then if we click on the right hand menu, we can see that the menu slides in. So let's now go to design mode and take a look at how we did that. So we can see that what we have in the center over here, starting over there all the way through there, is a panel card that has a header on it, and the header has two buttons, one that says left menu and the other that says right menu, and then a tab stop in between, which causes the left menu to be left justified and the right menu button to be right justified. Then the actual body of this panel card just simply has some static text that says main menu card. So if we go here, we see the static text over there, we see the button in the header, the left aligned button in the header there, and the right aligned button in the header over there. Now the buttons themselves do not have any event handlers on them, so there's no code on those buttons. So now we can see that what we also have is before this panel card, we have another panel card which has a list control in it, and then after that panel card we have another panel card that also has a list control in it. So the first panel card here is called left menu, and the third panel card is called right menu. So left menu happens to have a list control on it which is set to fill the container, and if we go look at this list, we can see that it's just simply a static list of choices that has menu in the first row, so this is the field name, and then item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. So this is the actual data that shows up in the list. And then similarly for the right menu, we have basically a list control that again has menu and then item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. And in both cases the list has been set to a free-form layout, and the layout itself just contains the field menu. So that's how we basically get our left menu and our right menu. So now let's pause now and pick this up in the next video. So let's continue now with looking at how the menuing system was built in the UX component in Alpha Anywhere. So now we can go to the left menu, which is panel card, this panel card called left menu, and you can see that what we've done is we set that the layout size is 200 pixels wide, and then we've also said that this panel card here is automatically docked on the left hand side. In other words, before the main panel card. So here's our main panel card, and this panel card here is going to be docked, and we've chosen collapse before, and then naturally for this panel menu that appears on the right hand side, this panel card over here, we've specified that this is going to be docked afterwards, so we've chosen collapse after, and again we've chosen a 200 pixel size. So now when we actually go to working preview, you can see that we do not see the panel card on the left or the panel card on the right because they've both been docked, but these two buttons over here are revealing those docked panels. So let's go and see how these two buttons here were configured. So if we go back now to our panel layout, we can see that there's a property here called docked panel controller buttons. So this is where you can specify the buttons that are going to control the dock state of the panels that have been docked. So recall that left menu panel and right menu panel are docked, but here are our two buttons that we want to use to control the dock state of those panels. So we're going to go here and click on the smart field, and then we're going to add left menu button and specify that left menu button is going to control the panel called left menu. So this is this panel here called left menu, and this button, the right menu button, is going to control the panel called right menu. So we did that by clicking the button here called add button controller, choosing the button in the first drop down, and choosing the panel that that button controls in the second button. So that was all that we needed to do in order to make this button here bring up that panel, and then make this right button bring up the right panel. Now when you click in the center panel, the docked panel automatically gets redocked, so you don't have to write any code at all to redock the panel when you click off the panel. So at this point we've shown how easy it is to use the panel layout with docked panels to create menus that slide in from either the left or the right. But you can see here that this panel layout, we specified that the docked panels are displayed using the slide method. So that means that both the left hand panel and the right hand panel, they slide in, and as they slide in they push the center panel off to either to the right or the left. So let's look at this again now. From the right hand side, you can see that as the menu comes in, it pushes the center panel off the screen. But if we go back now to this jQuery example, we can see here that the left hand menu does what we call a slide. So it basically pushes the center panel off to the right, but the right hand panel basically slides in on top of the content. So in the next video we're going to show how this same pattern can be built in Alpha Anywhere. So let's pause now and pick this up in the next video. So we're continuing now with our video describing how to build a menuing system using docked panels in the UX component in Alpha Anywhere, and we've just shown how in the jQuery example the menu that comes in from the left hand side pushes the center panel over to the right as it slides in, whereas the menu that comes in from the right hand side slides over the content. So now you can see that we've switched now to a different component here where we've implemented that behavior. So let's first demonstrate the behavior and then go back and look at how this was actually built. So we'll go now to working preview, and now when we click the left hand button we can see that the center panel is going to be pushed over just like the jQuery example did. So you can see there we've pushed it over. But when the menu item comes in from the right hand side, you can see that it slides over the content. So in order to basically do that, we actually needed to create two panel layouts. So let's go back to our design here and look at what we have now. So now instead of having one panel layout, we have two panel layouts. We can see that we have an inner panel layout over here which goes from there all the way through here, and this inner panel layout has the right-hand menu in it. So if we look at this inner panel layout here, the nested one, we can see that this uses a docked panel display method of over. So that causes the panel to slide in on top of the existing content. And then this whole panel from here to here is wrapped in another panel, which is the outer panel, which controls the left-hand menu, and on the left-hand menu we've basically set the dock panel method to slide. So that causes the panel, the center panel here, to slide over to the right as this panel becomes visible. So in terms of the dock panel button controllers, you can see that the inner panel layout has a single controller here for the right menu, so this brings in the right menu, whereas the outer panel also has now a single button, which is the left menu, which brings in the left menu. So in order to mix and match the dock panel display methods, we needed to actually create a nested panel layout. So if we go now and look at this again, we can see the behavior that we discussed. So here's the slide behavior, and then and then here is the over behavior. So you can see that this is now coming in on top of the panel card. So what we've demonstrated over here in this video is how we were able to build this menuing system with panels sliding in from the left and the right without actually writing any code, by just making selections from the menu items in the UX component. But at this point the menuing system is not doing anything. In other words, when I click on item 1 or item 2 or item 3, nothing's actually happening. So what we're going to do in the next video is actually make this component a little bit richer and actually hook up these menu items here so that they do something real. So we'll pause now and pick this up in the next video. So we're continuing now with our video on building a navigation system, and what we've done now is we've replaced the center panel card, where we had a single panel card, with a panel navigator, and then inside this panel navigator now we've defined 4 different panel cards. So there's panel card 1, panel card 2, panel card 3, and then panel card 4. Now of course we could have many more panel cards if we needed them. So now let's go and see what happens when we go over to working preview. So you can see now currently this is main panel card 1, and now when we bring in the menu and then click say on item number 2, as soon as we click on item number 2, the menu slides away again, and now panel card 2 has focus. Then if we go back there and slide there, now panel card 3 has focus, and then finally panel card 4 has focus. Then on the right hand side we've also defined these menu items to have behavior. So we can obviously we can describe now how these items are configured, but I'd also like to point out that in addition to bringing in the menus by clicking on the button here, we've also now configured a swipe action so that I can swipe the menus into view and out of view as well. So you can see that the menu is coming into view when I swipe with my mouse or my finger, and is going out of view when we swipe backwards. So let's go and take a look at how both the swipe action was implemented and also how the menu behavior was implemented. So first let's focus on the menu behavior. So let's go now to our left menu and click on list properties, and then click on events, and we can see that the event that we care about is the on-click event. So the list itself has a large number of events, but the one that we care about here is on click. This is the event that fires when you tap on a row in the list. And what we've specified here is that when we tap on a row in the list, we'd like to call a JavaScript function that we've defined. So we'll go next and take a look at the definition of this function. But we'd like to pass into the function the name of the menu item that was clicked. So we've chosen this .selection data 0 .menu. So menu is the column name of the data in the list, but this .selection data 0 is the data for the current row that was clicked. So the way that we knew this was, if we go to here, more help here, you can see it tells us that this .selection data 0 is a pointer to the data in the current row of the list. So select menu item left now is our JavaScript function. So let's go take a look at that JavaScript function and what it does. So here we have select menu item left, and what we're doing over here is getting a pointer to the panel object, top panel. So here's the panel object over there, top panel. And then what we're doing in the JavaScript is we are hiding the dock panel. So in other words, we're taking that menu that had been revealed and we're redocking the panel card. So this causes the menu to go away. And then we're saying that if the item is item 1, then we want to set main panel card 1 to have focus, otherwise main panel card 2, otherwise main panel card 3, etc. So basically here are the different panel cards over there. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. So basically when the user clicks on item 1, we're going to bring this panel card into focus. When the user clicks on this, on item 2, we're going to bring that panel card into focus, and so on. So making the menu items here actually perform some kind of navigation in our component is extremely easy. So let's pause now and take a look at the last item, which was how we got the swipe action to hide and display the menus. We're continuing with our video now on how the UX component was configured as a menuing system for a mobile application, and we're going to talk now about how the swipe action can be used to bring the menus into view and hide the menus. So just to recap here, you can see that instead of clicking the button to reveal the menu on the left or the right, we can just simply swipe on the panel and that's going to bring the menu into view. So let's go now and take a look at how this was done. But before we go into the on swipe code here for the panel layout, let's just recap here. We can see that the right hand menu is part of the panel layout called center panel, whereas the left hand menu is part of the panel layout called top panel. So let's go now to the swipe action, and you can see here's the builder for the swipe action. Now I got the stub code for this action by just clicking here on information on how to write a swipe event and then clicking on the code example, and that gave me the stub for the code that I've written over here. So what we'd like to do here is say that if the user is swiping to the left, then what we'd like to do is get a pointer to the panel card, so here to the panel layout. So there's top panel, which is this one over here. And then what we're doing is we're saying that if the dock panel is currently being shown, so we're using the panel object .state.dock panel. So if the left menu is currently being shown, then hide it. If it is not being shown, then bring the right menu into view. So basically, as I swipe to the left, if the left menu is currently shown, I'm going to hide it. Otherwise, I'm going to bring the right hand menu into view. Then vice versa, if I'm swiping to the right, then I get a pointer to the center panel card, to the center panel layout, which is this one over here. And then what I do is I check the state of the dock panel. So the dock panel would be the right hand menu. So if that is currently shown, then I'm going to hide the right hand menu, and if it's not being shown, then I'm going to reveal the left hand menu. So basically this is the handler for swiping to the right. So adding swipe behavior to reveal and hide the menus, as you can see, is pretty simple. So in this video we've shown how you can create a very rich menuing system with docked panels that is going to work equally well on a phone, or you can see here if we switch to a tablet, here's basically, there's our view in the tablet view. So there's the left hand menu, and let's just make our screen a little bit bigger and switch over to the right hand menu there. So there's our menu. So everything just works exactly as you would expect on a phone or a tablet, and we did this all by making selections from the menus in the UX component. Thanks very much for watching.